If we will just ask for our perfect day, we can let it be brought to us. And it's not up to us to decide how that is to be. So she didn't decide how it should be, just that it would appear, right? So a peaceful mind creates only peace. It says this sounds simple, but I assure you that it takes vigilance on your part to remember how to think with a consciousness of abundance, especially after years of practicing fear-based thinking. There are no silver bullets. It's like learning a new language. However, in this case, the language is one that you already know. Somewhere deep within your soul, you are aware of your power, your magnitude, and your natural state of abundance. You have the innate ability to create joyfully, effortlessly, and prosperously, as it was given to you by your Creator. This blueprint has been forgotten, but not extinguished. That which is true about you is true now and forever. It has been obscured to you only because of the fearful and limiting thoughts that have clouded your mind. Once your natural state is remembered inwardly, everything begins to shift and change outwardly. This is the result of the universal laws of cause and effect. So as we get into this material, we start to realize that a whole consciousness of abundance is almost like a new language, for a lot of people. Some people are really used to an abundant consciousness, and they think about it and breathe it in and speak it every single day. And then other people, as you meet them along the way, you might find them saying, oh, I can't afford that, or I can't do that. You might offer that you go somewhere or do something. I can't do that right now. And that's all fine and good, but what's going on inside the mind is so important, because your consciousness is always at work. If you think about it, every thought you have is creative. So if we knew, that at 1 o'clock next Thursday, I use that example, if you knew that next Thursday at 1 o'clock that you would manifest anything that you're thinking right now, what would you do? How would you act differently? Like if you knew what you're thinking right now, you're going to produce it Thursday at 1 o'clock.
You chase those thoughts, any bad thoughts out of your head as fast as possible.
You chase out the bad thoughts. You probably make everybody be quiet. And if somebody came in and said, I was kind of complaining or worrying, or that, you'd be like, no. Yeah, just
the
like
dog whisperer.
The dog whisperer, right? But that's how it works. We think it doesn't, I think, because we go on about our thinking and we just let those thoughts just come and go. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, whatever. We try to put in a few more good thoughts. But we don't realize that these negative thoughts, the limiting thoughts, are constantly causing delay in our lives. So if we could realize that our thoughts really do produce that well, like Thursday at 1 o'clock. But what we don't know is when. We don't know exactly when it will produce. Sometimes it's 2 years later, but isn't that a great surprise? 2 years later, and you go, I remember, thank you very much. You brought it on. And sometimes it happens instantaneously. You saying yes? What's that? What are you thinking?
Oh, sometimes it's just, I don't know, when you're in sync with the universe, like I was in Nepal and I was thinking about someone because I needed his mindset about this project that was coming up. And I just came down from the room and I sat in the breakfast area and I said, I wish Merv was here. I could ask him, anything about this, and he can guide me, and this would be so easy. And I start reading the newspaper. I put down, and Merv is sitting across the table, and
in Nepal, yeah.
So I thought, oh my God. I had to go and literally touch him, and the measure was really there. Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I don't know how it works, but...
Yeah. One thing I've noticed also, at least more of the time, a higher percentage of the time, when you have just a joyful thought without any investment in fear, ba-boom, you will produce it. Have you done that before where, maybe you were looking for a red raincoat or something, and you just thought, boy, it would be really great if I could find just the right thing on sale, and you walk in the store and there's like one coat, it's your size, and it's just sitting there. So there's things that happen, and we go, how come that happened? And then this thing that I want will not happen, right? But it's because there's an investment of fear. So let's keep on going here. So the good news is that you have a lot of help. Your higher mind is ready and eager to assist you. It is your higher mind that remembers everything, and it has been longing for your invitation to help you remember who you are. Your higher mind needs your invitation to help you because it is wholly loving. And so your higher mind needs to be invited. Why is that? Why does your higher mind, this is your God intelligence.
It's smarter.
But why does it need to be invited?
Oh, because it won't force it. It's not
It will
forced.
not force. Your higher mind is wholly loving. It must be invited. So when we're in that moment of distress, we want to ask. Ask, ask, ask. You cannot wear it out. But we forget to ask, or sometimes we even think maybe we're being a little greedy or a little selfish, or some people can think those thoughts, well, I've been praying a lot lately, maybe I should take care of this on my own. No, don't take care of anything on your own. Always go to the higher part of your mind. And as you invite that higher part, it will always respond immediately, actually. But the way that it comes through in communication is many different ways. It can come through in a phone call. It can come through on a billboard, on a license plate, a bumper sticker. Somebody puts your next book in your hands, right? It can come through in your dreams. It can come through just a conversation, a stranger on the street. So somebody comes up and can say something to you. I remember sitting in a park one day, and I was just feeling so overwhelmed about it. I had opened a center, and it was really hard, and I was struggling so hard to pay the rent, and I was really contemplating closing it down. It was a few years ago, and I was just really heartbroken about it, and mostly I felt like a failure. I mean, it was just all over me, and I didn't understand at the time that it wasn't up to me to just figure everything out all the time. I was still in the mode that it was.
CFO.
Right, CFO mode. And it's like, if it failed, then I must have been the failure. So I'm sitting in this park, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, there's no one around, and I kind of made sure, because I was doing a little prayer, and I had my hands like this, and I was just sitting in this park, and there was tears coming down my face, and all of a sudden this voice was there, and it only had been about 2 minutes since I sat down, and there was no one around me, and this park bench was in the center of this huge park. I mean, there wasn't even enough time for someone to get to me. So it startled me, and he said, "Why are you so sad?" And I said, "Oh, I didn't even know he knew I was sad. I mean, he couldn't even see my face." And I said, "Oh, I'm fine." I said, "I'm just taking a little time. I do a little prayer in the morning." And so he starts pacing back and forth, back and forth. And I'm thinking, oh, great. You know, it's just not the time you want to be social. I just wanted that quiet time. And I could tell he wanted to help me, but you know how you're not in the place where you really want to be helped right then? You just want to be quiet, you want to purge. I was already feeling lousy. I didn't really want to have a conversation. All these thoughts were coming up in my mind. So he paces back and forth and back and forth. And he goes, "Well, whatever it is," and I'm going, okay, here comes the pep talk, right? "Whatever it is, and whatever happened," he goes, "I just want you to know one thing." And I'm like, here it comes, you know. He goes, "You failed." And I'm like, and the tears just like almost popped out of my eyes. I'm like, and I looked up at him, and he said, "So what? You failed." He goes, "Do you think that anyone that ever did anything that was worthwhile didn't fail?" He goes, do you kick a guy for trying and trying and trying at something, and then it doesn't work? Does that make him worse for it? Does that make him a bad man or a woman? And I said, no. So he just gave me this huge talk, and I think he just dropped in as this angel to speak to me that day. But it's like I was gagging on my own pride and my own sense of failure and ego, and it just like coughed up like a piece of tin foil. And so I was able to leave that park with that part left behind. And it was funny because I decided that day to actually go forward and just see what would happen. And as soon as I got back to my car, I got a phone call, and then a friend of mine asked if we could work together on doing this project that ended up keeping us there for several more months. But it was immediately, it was like within 30 minutes of that time. So people will do drop-ins. When we need to hear, we need to hear. So you can ask for that. And a lot of times I'll ask for very, very clear signals.